So, very good afternoon to each one of you present here, and I welcome all of you on behalf of the Eastern India Regional Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in the 50th year of its regional conference. So, thank you very much for your participation. Now, I'm going to start this session, which is having the topic of global Indian healthcare challenges and the road ahead. So nicely coined with the today's scenario and the healthcare condition all across India, as well as the eastern zone of the India. So we have in panel galaxy of eminent speakers, amongst them the speaker Dr. Sombroto Roy, C.K. Birla Hospitals, CMRI Kolkata, Dr. Pratim Sen Gupta, MD and CEO Nephrocare India Limited, esteemed speaker Mr. Abhijit Majumdar, CEO Apollo Multi-Specialty Hospitals, Kolkata, speaker Ms. Shauli Dotto, CEO Disan Hospital, speaker CA Neeraj Jaiswal, CFO India Medicover Group. So may I call upon stage all of you, one after another, so that you can have your seat here. First, I'll call upon stage Dr. Sombroto Roy. Please put your hands together for Dr. Sombroto Roy. Dr. Pratim Sen Gupta. Please put your hands together, a little louder. Mr. Abhijit Majumdar. So, Mr. Majumdar, please have your seat. Ms. Shauli Dotto, CEO Disan Hospital. C. Neeraj Jaiswal, CFO India Medicover Group. And I call upon stage our moderator of the session, Sri Satish Kotakota, CEO Devgan Cinepex. Please put your hands together for our moderator of the session. Thank you, sirs, for your time and your contribution towards our conference. So may I take a few minutes out of the total allotted session time just to read out and introduce our speakers and the moderator. Satish Kotakota, CEO of Devgan, Devgan Cinex. He's a seasoned business leader with extensive experience across industries like consumer digital, healthcare tech, health tech care, fintech, and fintech. Financial. It's a typically written like this, and fintech services, large infra, etc. He is a chartered accountant and postgraduate from INSEAD, France. He has worked in markets across India, like and also in USA, UK, Hong Kong, Turkey, and China. His expertise spans in broad advisory, IPOs, strategy, merger acquisitions, and investment banking. Mr. Satish served on the boards of many companies and was recognized thrice among India's top 100 companies as speakers and successful leader. So put your hands together once again for Satish ji. Thank you, Satish ji, for your time. Now may I introduce C.A. Neeraj Jaiswal. C.A. Neeraj Jaiswal is the fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He holds a diploma in cyber laws from the Indian Law Institute. He has 28 years of experience in healthcare domain and was associated with hospitals of Kolkata such as AMRI, Apollo Hospitals, Woodlands, Bhagirathi Neotia, BP Poddar Hospitals, and Jubilant Kalpataru Hospital. He had worked with Prince Lai Khan Hospitals, Seven Hills and Shurya Hospitals at Mumbai. Presently, he is working with NASDAQ-listed Swedish healthcare operating in India. As CFO India of Medicover Group, he manages 25 hospitals, fertility chain, and captive software businesses. He had served as the youngest member of the insurance subcommittee of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry earlier. Thank you very much, Neeraj ji, for your presence. May I now introduce Dr. Abhijit Majumdar. Mr. Majumdar, currently holding the position of CEO in Apollo Multispeciality Hospitals, Kolkata, has immense expertise and experience of more than 21 years in the healthcare industry. He is an accomplished healthcare administrator whose expertise lies in the areas like sales and marketing, brand building, revenue and growth planning, healthcare optimizations, and hospital operations. In his previous role as group head for the corporate marketing division of Apollo Hospitals, he played a pivotal role in taking the corporate business to a newer height. His contribution to international marketing is commendable while establishing the footprint of the Apollo Hospitals Group in the parts of Africa and Commonwealth of Independent States. Mr. Majumdar did his graduation in chemistry from University of Calcutta, followed by Masters in Business Administration. He holds the Diploma in Hospital Management from Indian Institute of Social Welfare and Business Management, Kolkata. Thank you for your time, Mr. Majumdar. Please put your hands together. Dr. Pritam Sengupta, MD, DM Nephrology, founder, MD, and CEO, Nephrocare India Limited. Dr. Pritam Sengupta is a leading nephrologist and the founder, managing director, and CEO of Nephrocare India Limited, one of the India's fastest growing holistic renal care organization. With over 20 years of clinical experience and more than 1,000 kidney transplants to his credit, he is recognized for pioneering a comprehensive approach to kidney health that integrates clinical nephrology, renal nutrition, and medical yoga. Dr. Sengupta completed his MD and DM from IPGMER SSKM Hospital, Kolkata, followed by advanced fellowship at Harvard Medical School, USA, Karolinska Institute, Sweden, and Peking University, China. He is a member of major global nephrology associations and serves as the president of the Kidney Care Society. Under his leadership, Nephrocare India is expanding nationally through a hub and spoke model, delivering accessible, preventive, and evidence-based kidney care across India. He has been honored with several awards, including the Bharat Jyoti Award and Times Man of the Year. Thank you for your time, sir. Somabrata Roy, Unit Head, CK Birla Hospitals, CMRI, Kolkata. Mr. Roy holds a master's degree in business administration from Bangalore University. He has completed his executive program in global business management from the Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata, currently pursuing his PhD program in management from Maharaja Agrasen Himalayan Garhwal University, Uttarakhand. Proficient in different regional languages, he is an avid reader and has keen interest in community service. As a visionary leader, he actively shares his expertise through knowledge-sharing sessions at premier management institutions and leading healthcare associations, inspiring the future leaders and advancing the healthcare discourse. Amongst the different awards and achievements, he has achieved the Lions International Shiksha Samman Award 2025, Press Club Kolkata Healthcare Excellence Award 2025, Kolkata Police Young and Dynamic Healthcare Leaders 2025, ICC National Healthcare Excellence Awards Unit Head of the Year 2024 CMRA Hospitals, and many more. He is at present the President AHPI, Association of Healthcare Providers India, West Bengal, Co-Chairman of ASHOCAM, Healthcare East, member of Association of Hospitals in Eastern India, NAT Health East, CII Healthcare Committee East, ICC Healthcare Committee East, life member of CAHO Consortium of Accredited Healthcare Organizations. So nice of you, sir, for giving your time and your precious time for us. And we are very hopeful that with this host of panelists, the people who are, the delegates who are presented will be immensely benefited from the inputs that they will be sharing with you. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Now it's the time to felicitate all of you. So may I request the treasurer of our Eastern India Regional Council, ICAI, CA Aditya Maheshwari, to please come forward and facilitate the entire panelist present here, one after another. So, first, CA Neeraj, in this order, please. Please put your hands together. Oh, sorry. I guess. So I'll just. Thank you, Aditya. So I just missed out. I am very sorry, ma'am, for skipping your profile because I just overlooked the profile, so never mind. So I'll introduce Ms. Shauli Dotto, CEO, Deshan Hospital, Master of Management. So please, a special introduction. So after everyone is introduced, she's getting introduced after the felicitation time. So please put your hands together once again. So Master of Management, Ross School of Business, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, USA. Ms. Shauli Dotto serves as a CEO of Deshan Hospital. She earned her Master of Management from Ross School of Business, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, USA, one of the world's top-ranked business schools. Under her leadership, Deshan has strengthened its position as a quality-driven healthcare provider. She spearheaded the hospital's pursuit of Joint Commissioner International, JCI accreditations, aligning Deshan with the highest global benchmark in the patient safety and clinical excellence. She has also been instrumental in expanding strategic service lines, strengthening operational systems, and positioning Deshan as a leader in the tertiary care of Eastern India. As Deshan's Director of Neurodevelopment Initiatives, Shauli has been particularly committed in building India's first hospital integrated autism and neurodevelopment support center by integrating applied behavior of analysis, ABA in short, the globally organized model for autism intervention. Into spatial infrastructure, she has established a pioneering model of inclusive science-backed development care of children and families. A meticulous planner, she has been at the forefront of introducing several marketing programs, devising strategies to reach a wider audience through various community connect activities. Besides his leadership, the group's CSR initiatives, she has taken an active interest in academic endeavors and regularly participates in presenting papers at various top B schools across India, including IIM Calcutta and IIM Ahmedabad. To conclude, her vision is to make Deshan a care for excellence that combines cutting-edge clinical quality with socially responsive innovation, ensuring every patient and family receives care that is ethical, sustainable, and globally benchmarked. And she is an avid believer in offering world-class quality care and value for money treatment. So nice of you, ma'am, and welcome to our seminar. And it's a Golden Jubilee seminar, so I think again the delegates will get immense benefit out of the galaxy of panelists present here. Thank you very much. I conclude here my part, and I welcome our moderator of the session to take the session forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction, gentlemen. I want to start the whole conversation with in the serial of the order. Then I realized Madam had the longest introduction and highest achievement. To start with, so probably I'll start with you, Ms. Datta. So I was trying to understand how is the whole quality in the healthcare sector you see as an improvement in the Indian healthcare, and how do you think it takes our sector, our Indian healthcare industry, maybe a decade from now, and probably from there as to what changes do you foresee from the government or other ecosystem supporters, and what challenges do you currently see? Yeah.
Hi. Very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for the lovely introductions. It's wonderful to know the other panelists. I completely disagree with Sir. I have a lot to learn from everyone, so I'm very fortunate to be on the panel. Our esteemed colleagues and members of ICAI, thank you for having me today to share a bit about what's going on in the world of healthcare. We, from healthcare, can connect with every other sector. Hello. We can connect with every other sector, and we are happy to connect today with ICAI, and congratulations on the 50th year. It's a grand celebration. Let me begin by first saying that quality in healthcare is not just a certificate. It is a major discipline that healthcare sector, hospitals like ours at Deshan Hospital and other esteemed institutions choose to partake in. We have the immense responsibility of patient care, of patient outcomes, of vulnerable populations coming to us, and quality plays a massive role in also providing that level of care that we are promising to our patients. So quality in healthcare can have a lot of different meanings. Of course, the standardization is one such aspect of it. Having predictable, safe care pathways, having a robust infection control mechanism in place, these are all a result of immense, impeccable standards being placed especially with accreditations like NABH, which is all over recognized in India, as well as Joint Commission International, JCI, that we have also been recently accredited at DSAN. If I talk about how quality is to drive India in the next decade or two, it would have two parts to it. One is the domestic aspect and the other the international. So, of course, when I talk about domestic aspect is a major control on non-communicable diseases, reducing any kind of errors relating to compliance, cutting back waste expenditure, and ensuring that chronic care outcomes are, in most cases, in the desirable form that we would like. In the global health forms also, we want for India to be positioned within the next couple of decades as a major research center, not just a provider of healthcare services that we are already one of the top in. But quality adoption would also position India to provide high acuity care for international patients with, of course, our domestic patients as well, and cross-network tele-ICUs that we have started, at DSAN, we have already started working on. We have another hospital not too far from us here in Siliguri. So we are already exploring networks of hospitals so that we are able to standardize the care across it. Some frameworks within the policy sector that will definitely get us there is mandatory outcome reporting. So if there is standardization on the protocols, then the outcome reports are, if they are made mandatory across the private and public sectors both, that would help in the homogenization of how we are seeing, and essentially that would contribute a lot more to the medical data that we at this point are ready to sort of take on. Insurance incentives for higher quality. We need for the health sector to prioritize quality standards, and one of the best ways to do that is to incentivize HCOs in the process. Governance of AI within healthcare. Of course, we all know AI is the next upcoming, and it's almost here. But within healthcare, especially in India, we are yet to standardize that, and quality adoption will have a huge role in also with the governance of AI. So Viksit Bharat that we as a country are working towards for the next about 3 decades or so is not that far off now that we think about it. We are already at 2025. Within the next couple of decades, we should be aiming and working towards the Viksit Bharat goals. Within the healthcare sector, for sure, I can say that one of the higher priorities is early detection that even the consultants on our panel could also definitely talk on, so that we move from curative to preventive. That's one of the major aspects of Viksit Bharat. Reducing the emergency load. I know all the hospitals are struggling on that front, as do we. And so, for instance, at DSAN, with over 30 beds in just the emergency itself, we are constantly pushing for further and further quality and standardization adoptions, just so that we are able to, each minute, each second, it counts a lot in emergency. And so we need to move in a very systematic sense, especially with the bigger hospitals, or the hospitals over 500 beds, which there are a couple in Kolkata, including ours. So by 2050, India is looking to be a global healthcare country, of course, with world-class certifications, with more hospitals, even though right now we have possibly less than 100 hospitals who are JCI accredited all over India, and maybe 2 or 3 in Kolkata itself. Working towards that will be another major such goal that would help us get there. And cross-border tele-ICU networks, which we are already doing in some format on a more local scale. We are moving towards a national, and then possibly international within the next couple of decades. Having skilled manpower, that's the other big area that we can work on. And again, quality again plays a role in that, because adopting the standardizations would also help our workforce to be able to sort of contribute all over the country as well as outside India as well. And finally, just to again reiterate, quality is not just a certificate that hospitals are working towards for the sake of it. It impacts each and every angle that a hospital works in, from our medical teams to our patient outcomes to how our patients are even going back home, and a big part of their recovery is also in that process. So India can only transform if we at the very micro scale are able to make our individual changes and then work towards the whole country becoming essentially a global hotspot for all kinds of medical care. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So for me, key takeaways apart from standard clinicals are AI in healthcare. Probably we'll extend that topic a little later. Mr. Abhijit, what is your take on the same subject, coming from a national level marketing role to a regional level, single facility, where your effort has to be more towards operations, not just sales and marketing. It's entire P&L, I understand, but operations, clinical quality, standardization, etc., becomes your priority. I just want to hear from you.
So you are asking for change in terms of our approach from a role point of view. So
Right.
Having said so, overwhelming majority part of my professional life has been with Apollo.
Okay.
And when we talk about Apollo, we see that as one unit itself, which is Apollo
Right.
Hospitals Group. But obviously focus changes in a larger way, because when you run a single unit, but eventually hospitals are run by doctors.
Right.
So we should not feel it that we run it, but it's a conglomeration of effort. Definitely focus is on the market at which you operate. So take for instance from any other city, large part of my professional life was in Delhi, and obviously Calcutta is a place where I belong to. The big change that shifts here is the demographic shift that happens. So first change that happens is when you run a large format of hospitals, which is in Calcutta, which is majority of your patients coming from your local market, the operations has to be in focus. So let me give an example. When you run a hospital which is near full in terms of its network and occupancy, and overwhelming majority of your patients are coming from your local market, the demands are much more stricter in terms of service quality
Absolutely.
deliverables than somebody coming from outside. For example, if somebody goes to Chennai from this part of the country, you are going with about 10 days in your hand. For you, it really doesn't matter in terms of service deliverables, what you do in next 2 hours. But if I'm coming from Salt Lake to Apollo Hospitals, Calcutta, I probably take a half day from my office, and in that 4 hours, I need to do a consultation with doctors like him, do the diagnostic, get an overall opinion. So the system and the market makes you much more leaner in terms of deliverables. So your focus is on that market where you operate, which is for us here. And because large number of people take care of your services, so you have to be operationally really lean on delivering. That's number one. Number two is, obviously the key factor for healthcare is affordability. The market in which you operate, you have to cater demands to that market itself, both in terms of clinical programs and also in terms of making it affordable for the population. So if you go from one part of the country, and we paint country as one, but actually it's conglomeration of several states with various disease patterns existing in different parts of the country. For example, if you come here, and Dr. Sengupta will agree, the incidence of certain cancer is much more prevalent in this part of the country than any other part. The prevalence of the gastroenteritic disorders or cardiac disorders are much more different here. The valve disorders are much more here. So while you develop a clinical program as an administrator, you need to keep the need of the market also in mind. So one part comes into the service deliverables, which is operations in mind. Second is you exist for the community. So what you do for them is very important in terms of developing a clinical program altogether. So these two will be a major focus altogether.
I agree, but how do you manage the whole challenge of, you want to give a global standard quality of services, whether it is Apollo as a standard brand that you have developed, or whether it is any other standard that you want to give, versus a locality where your per capita income is lower compared to a national level per capita. How do you manage? Do you really see financially it is sustainable? While we are a service industry, it doesn't mean we are in the process of losing money from the pockets of the investors.
See, the essence of healthcare remains everywhere the same. You deliver a quality of services where you can't compromise.
Right.
So if you are having a dot to balloon time for a patient who had an attack itself and needs to be taken for angioplasty, for everyone's consumption, it's a procedure done when there's a blockage in the artery that you have to open. So one is you cannot compromise on the response system, and second, you cannot compromise on the quality of deliverables. So to answer you, like Madam has told, many of our hospitals have embraced a quality standard. Some of us have embraced JCI, Joint Commission International, which is considered as a gold standard globally across.
Right.
But NABH, the Indian counterpart, is also no less. In fact, the parameters and deliverables are much more compared to JCI. So healthcare in today's world is very standardized. The clinical outcomes that you have, the benchmarking of outcomes like infection control mechanism, the ventilator-assisted pneumonia, what you say, or even the antimicrobial resistance, the programs that we deliver. Across the country in major center, and trust us, it is not Apollo. I think all of us, what we deliver, care is of certain standard, which is globally benchmarked across the best center in the world. And I think our doctors and the nurses who deliver that care are so well trained, and that's why people all across are coming here. I don't think that any of us ever do a compromise. To answer you, whether we'll have to take a beating in terms of cost and keep it within that, is definitely large part of healthcare cost is materials itself, the medicine, consumables and other things, which are driven by a pricing structure. It doesn't change anywhere in the country you go. Healthcare inherently is very capital intensive. The doctors here are as equally competent as any part of the country. So while delivering quality, the resources that you have here never a constant problem, because large part of financing, and you guys are the custodians of economy. I know the conference where I'm talking about, large part of financing has happened through insurance. So when an insurance company comes in, it doesn't determine large difference between a hospital operating in Delhi, Bombay or Calcutta. I think the advent of insurance has in a lot many ways changed the scenario. Your out-of-pocket expenditure has gotten much less.
It helps the industry.
It has helped to deliver the quality that we look forward to.
Yeah, I just want to add what Abhijit has added. Like we also operate hospitals in Tier 2, Tier 3 city, like like a city like Navi Mumbai, like where the you get you have to serve around 1.2 crore population, and you get extended roughly around 2 crore of population. Then we operate in a city called Warangal with a population of 8 lakh. And then, but it gives an advantage. Like when we are buying the equipment in bulk, we buy, and then the same equipment is used at both the location. The quality of delivery is same, but price points are different. We were the first hospital in Warangal, but the next competitor is around, which is a small doctor's practice. The largest was around 20-25 bedded hospital. The city is getting benefited, everything. And the doctors from the NHS UK, who has moved from Warangal to UK, have very happily has come back. When my colleagues from Sweden, they went there to see the hospital, and one of the cases they saw this, they were surprised, the kind of complicated surgeon, the neurosurgeon was doing the case, and so it's there. So delivery mechanism is same, so when you have a larger chain, like it's a price point is important. Yes, we do cross-subsidize from one city to other city, like the cost of living in the Navi Mumbai is different, and the Warangal is absolutely different, and the city where we operate, like Kannur, etc., is different. So there is a difference, the delivery mechanism, and even the price point from the government services like CGHS, others also vary drastically. Drastically, the correct word, it changes. Because government pays you more in the metro cities, government pays you, say, the insurance company pays you more. So similarly, the cost of living, but the cost we pay to the nurses, the cost we pay to the doctor, and the equipment we buy is uniform. There is plus minus 5-10%. If we have to make Mumbai as an outlier, there's absolutely different, but it's almost uniform. So there is a pressure on those areas. Your gestation period is longer. As a chartered accountant, we calculate what ki IRR कितना आएगा, इसका ये देख लो, वो देख लो. जो मुझे पूछना पड़ता है अभी इतने साल काम करने के बाद, वो सब मैं अब नहीं पूछता हूँ. मैं समझाता हूँ मैनेजमेंट को, सर यहाँ IRR लेट आएगा, मुझे इसको क्रॉस सब्सिडी करनी पड़ेगी, वहाँ ज़्यादा करना पड़ेगा. तो वो स्ट्रैटेजी हमें अडॉप्ट करनी पड़ती है टू सर्व द मासेस. वहाँ पे हमें we cannot compromise on the delivery, which he rightly said. There is a zero tolerance on the compromise on the delivery mechanism in any country, any hospital of this world.
I just want to bring onto the table a proof or a view of the common man on the table is hospital is all about service. Commercial comes later. That's what I have seen multiple times when I deal with senior most, professionals, doctors, etc. What people feel in the outside market and look at the cost, etc. Nothing comes easy. The facility, the rent, the administrative, everyone wants extraordinary packages, etc. So I find it's not a great business to be in commercially unless you have the aspiration for a service back to the society. That is my take after dealing with who's who of the medical fraternity in India especially. Whereas in US, I see a case little different. It's pure play commercial. Most of the people go to the government or a community hospitals, 60-70% of the people, not many go to the private sector. Otherwise, the standard of living in US or the making capacity, money making capacity in US is much higher for clinicians. In India, I see mostly people are towards services. I just want to bring that as a topic. You want to add some lines to that, Dr. Pratim?
Now the question is, the definition of business is different to me. Business does not necessarily mean the Excel sheet or the delta of profit.
Right.
The word business, the way we use, is slightly different. Exactly the word what means. It's how we create impact. No other industry, I'm dead against to the term industry in the healthcare because this is something which is slightly different. Some values and some things are integrated in that. In that perspective, if we do not exist in this world, nothing remains. And this is the only arena which works for our existence. So henceforth, healthcare to be looked in a different angle, all perspective, be it from the societal angle, be it from the government policy, be it from the custodians who deals with the finance, they all need to think about this is our necessity for our existence. So henceforth, we have generalized all business with the healthcare business. I beg out to all of you, those who are custodian of money, those who are custodian of things, please look at in a different value. That's my humble submission to all of you.
Thank you. On just that you're on full fire. I just thought the most interesting topic for me to be discussed is IPO from Kolkata for a single specialty hospital. Not an easy job. Kolkata as a market.
I did not find it very difficult also.
Okay. So I thought it's going to be a bump. It was a bumpy ride and a roller coaster for you. Maybe we want to hear from you.
Look, the question is that regarding the IPO, honestly, when this suggestion for IPO came to me, I didn't know what is I, what is P, and what is O. Honestly speaking, I'm a doctor always with the treating patients. But it's a couple of times it happened so because my patients are across the country. Some of these, from your fraternity, few people who, as a patient came to us, saw the processes we follow, saw the quality of treatment we deliver. They said, why not you are scaling it up? So I suggest, I don't have money. Scaling up needs money. So we'll bring money for you. I said, how this will happen?
Yeah.
Then he told me there is a market called capital market. I was not aware of what is that. Because I have never had any demat account when I did the IPO. Honestly speaking, this is the, please listen from the horse's mouth, the story is very interesting. Then they say, doc, you don't know what happened, you come to Mumbai. I went to Mumbai and luckily Mr. Deepak Parekh, who was the chairman of the HDFC, his entire family is my patient. He called Deepak Parekh, Dr. साहब को मैंने लेके आया, मैंने सुना कि आपने उसका patient है, तो आप इसको क्यों IPO का suggestion नहीं किया? Then Mr. Deepak said, doc, you are doing so well, and I thought you were doing well. I don't know. So if you want, okay, go ahead. And that's the way the thing ball started. And I did my work. My people did all the compliances issues, DRHP preparation, all this thing, and it happened. It is not a roller coaster ride for me, honestly speaking. And much more tough job is treating a patient rather than doing an IPO. Believe me, after doing an IPO, and it was one of the most successful IPOs, 715 times oversubscribed, with a very small issue of roughly 54 crores in the SME sector, I understood we did 10 times, 20 times harder work day in, day out while treating a patients. Honestly, it was not recognized properly. That much I must tell you.
Got it.
Sir, as a CFO and chartered accountant fraternity and working in healthcare, it's a dream of a CFO to put a IPO for this company. I thought the biggest thing, I never thought a healthcare IPO coming so quick, and that also SME IPO. You have lived up my dream and the entire healthcare's dream And it's amazing. We are also on the IPO journey now, though our parents are listed in NASDAQ. But it's wonderful thing to sit here in this part of India, like where like I moved out for a greener pasture, moved to Mumbai, now to Hyderabad. So, but it's amazing thing. You deserve really a good round of applause for him that taking East forward in a IPO. It's very amazing thing, sir.
Especially a doctor who doesn't come, big finance background, a doctor who never had a DP account has to get 100 times of oversubscription is an amazing, 700 times of oversubscription. One of the maybe highest in the industry.
I understood when the people invest money, they invest on the cause.
Right.
Of late, I have understood this thing. Now, because of my company is listed, I look after sometime, if I get time to see how the chart is moving up and down. And with few education, because doctors are the quick learner, we learned so many things. We understood what is the macro, microeconomics, how the sectors, how these things are moving, who are the promoters, what are their cause, what are their vision, a lot of things, what is the communication to the market. These are the things which is really very, very nascent learning for me, honestly speaking, but it's not very difficult, honestly, I can tell you.
I suggest you write a book on this, and your biggest buyer will be chartered accountants.
So now I come to you, Samrit. So in terms of organization, right, you represent one of the oldest and very pioneer in the sector. You guys have done a lot of some of the early certifications, recognitions, likes of JCI, etc. What more, and how are you coping up with the competition in the market?
First of all, good afternoon, everybody. And technological glitch. So good afternoon, everyone. So again, it's an opportunity to be here with the esteemed panelists for this 50th year of Golden Jubilee celebration of Chartered Accountants of Eastern India. So thank you so much for that questions. And we already heard about the quality and service delivery. Yes, CK Birla Hospital, CMRI and BM Birla, it's the oldest corporate private hospital in this part of the city. CMRI got set up in 1969. We are into 55 years of operations, and BM Birla is of around 34 years of operations. So quality, again, BM Birla is the first NABH cardiac hospital in this part of the city, maybe an entire country, where this NABH got set up, and many things happened. But if you see, this is a trust hospital. The Birlas, they don't take any money from here, or neither they put any money. Whatever being generated as surplus, it is actually plowed back for the development of the hospital. Development in terms of infrastructure, manpower, technology, so on. Again, for me, the questions you asked, that nobody willing to come to a hospital, that because people come to a hospital with a lot of pain. And for me, and quality service starts from the doorstep when the person is getting into the hospital. How security is behaving and holding that person, guiding inside the hospital. How the doctor giving time. Nowadays, because of this technological thing, sometimes that eye-to-eye contact, whether it is there or not, whether this nurse is being given service or not. Then, after all, the pinch happened when the transparency got missed, when the bill, where people has a tendency of telling that private hospital ho to cheat kar lega, so bill is so much. So how that can be managed? There are many challenges apart from service delivery, apart from maintaining certain quality, apart from you are having whether NABH, NABL, JCI, CAP, and so on accreditations from different accredited body like that. But for me, what is important that your processes, your clinical protocol, your everything is in place. Is in place. I also think that when the patient comes to corporate hospital, their expectations are beyond. how you make them satisfied, make them happy when the patients from their life cycle journey from admission to discharge, which is more important. And that you deal with, and there you face a lot of challenges, how you overcome that, either with the technology, either with your service, quality, and everything. That is very important, that's what I feel.
So, I know we're conscious of time. I want to understand from panel members, everybody here, as to there's a lot of conversation from Prime Minister's office, whole focus on the healthcare, because if you compare any other sector within the country, healthcare is always yet to improve or yet to improve, because what we see is in Kolkata, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Bangalore, but you go to rurals and suburbans, it's not the same story. So, what is the Vikshit Bharat expectations, and what is the PM's Heal India, Heal the World concept? What do you think is the contribution and opinion about all the panel members? I'll start with you.
So if you see, one of the major challenges are bridging the gap between rural and the city. So if you go to tier 2, tier 3 cities, now the healthcare, they're coming up, but if it is a rural, where they will go to, they cannot come. A city has got maybe 10, 12 good corporate hospitals with the facilities, but if you go off to Purulia, it's an, again, place where you don't have anything. You have this primary healthcare center, and an emergency care is not there. Maybe even MRI also you will not get, and that person has to come to a city to cover a 5 hours journey, whether that time is there. If there is stroke, a brain stroke, where a golden hour comes, or an emergency, something happens where that hour is much more important to get a treatment given to that patient, where that will be given to. So I think with the Vikshit Bharat and Focus 2047, where this bridging the gap with technology, telemedicines and all, what has been spoken to, it will help people. But I feel that more and more private public partnership, where those places where the accessibility is an issue, there we have to reach with the healthcare. Because see, Indian GDP, if in healthcare spend, if you see around 3.8%, is the lowest. Even country like US, UK and other, it is much more. They give a lot of importance to healthcare, which now India is coming up. We are talking about AI, we are talking about technology, but what happens in rural area where a person needs an investigations to be done? So those areas to be looked into, and with Vikshit Bharat, Ayushman Bharat, now this even your Ayushman Bharat National Health Digital Missions, that also being started. And in this state, we have started with Swasthya Sathi and other scheme, where even people who are not affordable, they cannot think of to come to a hospital like a corporate hospital, they can afford, they can also think of. And slowly, I think this accessibility and affordability will much more wider, improved, and more on people will be taking this. If you see even in insurance, like health insurance, only 3 to 5% people of populations are getting covered. Wide coverage is still untapped. So everybody does not have insurance, though it is going more and more. It is increasing, but it is yet to come. The time is, it is getting better, but time is yet to come that we'll see people are covered and everybody has that same accessibility of healthcare delivery system. And at the same time, see, world is moving towards, it is not that only treating a patient. It is a 360-degree holistic care where we are talking about preventive care with and wellness. So, thank you.
You want to add anything?
Sir has been very all-encompassing. So the only thing to add is in Heal in India, that our PM has, our esteemed PM has had a vision for India. Though I feel one of the bigger ways is through keeping up with the times as well. So there should not be any area where I see that India will definitely fall back on. We have a more than capable workforce. We are able to invest, though we can definitely invest higher in healthcare, as Sir has also rightly pointed. Heal in India is also heal by India. So we can create our own communities, we can have our own standardization so that the equity which is missing right now, the rural-urban gap, or even the gaps in access to certain healthcare facilities, to even close up on all of that, because we are the largest population in the world, which comes with an even bigger responsibility for healthcare operators and healthcare workers. And we will be able to reach there only if we are keeping up with the times, adopting ourselves to the technologies, and there is no reason to not be able to do that. There is no specific element that we are missing, but definitely we have to put it all together and move towards there, and we should be able to realize the vision that our esteemed PM has had for us.
No, Satish, let me elaborate. Stick to the finance side of it, and I'll share my experiences. There's a beautiful thing government has done. Government has done whenever they execute any law or etc. It's a very beautiful piece of legislation or whatever. Sometimes we lack execution, sometimes bureaucracy. It takes into a different route. I'll stick to few of the examples on the direct tax area, indirect tax area, and the Heal in India and global. We are well all set. India is ahead we are delivering many things combined as a healthcare provider to the world. And we have seen that in the COVID period also, like when we came across all together and delivered what even world has not witnessed it and not even thought of it. So on the classical example will be government has done EPCG scheme, which it is applicable to manufacturing as well as services. So the difference between the manufacturing and the services is that manufacturing has an upper hand in, EPCG scheme is about you don't have to pay the duty on the imported capital equipment if you mitigate the export obligation for 6 years or equivalent to your duty which you have not paid. So in 6 years time, and there is an obligation to earn your foreign exchange. This is a beautiful piece of legislation, and many of the manufacturers have the advantage of opting for it. When we, as a healthcare institution, go for those for customs duty waiver, so that the equipment which we buy for the cancer or its a custom duty rate is quite high, though it's been lowered in times to come, but still India is importing all the equipments. Even the smaller piece of equipments we have to import. This is one of the industry where we are very much import dependence. People are having the iPhone. It was manufactured earlier in other countries. Now India is exporting it. We have a PLI scheme. There is outlay of around 4,000 crore, and I believe 1,000 crore with the 28 or 29 companies has fulfilled that, and it's still going on. So that is going on, but it is a baby step. It's like a baby step, when we launched our satellites, it was weighing 40 kilograms. Now we are lifting, last month we had ISRO launched a satellite of 4,000 kg. So it's time has moved, we have moved like that. So PLI scheme is a very good thing. In times to come, it is going to help the healthcare industry immensely. Coming back to EPCG scheme, manufacturing versus the service industry, when you export any manufacturing item, so you have the advantage of the trade practice of moving your item with the banker. A document moves through banker, and when your banker gives you credit to your bank account, then only your transporter will hand over the goods to the company who is importing your product. But when we import our services, meaning that it's a medical tourism or whatever reason, patient is coming to on our shore and it is covered under EPCG, and then what happens? We are supposed to earn foreign exchange to mitigate that our liability of export obligation over a 6 years time. The problem happens, the patient who comes from Africa or Gulf country or sometimes even the other part of globe, they see India due to the help of credit goes to the social media. They see all the negative about our country in social media, and they feel that we should not pay in advance unless we land. So even we do same when we land in some other country when we don't know. When a patient lands, it doesn't come straight to the hospital. Sometimes it goes to the hotel, and the hotel guys convince him to exchange his foreign exchange. And then it pays the cash to us. Then my obligation is not mitigated. So there should be a mechanism to, like the similar way, there is a scheme of third-party export for manufacturer where invoices you have to mention everything. But in hospital we cannot do. Okay, that hotel will not agree. So we lose all those obligations. It's a beautiful piece remains on the paper, and it becomes we have to pay penalty if any hospital opts for that. So execution. So there should be some mechanism where, like, if we can use the services of a chartered accountant, certifying patient has come, patient has to register under FRRO, all those things. Coming back to direct tax. Direct tax, there are beautiful provisions for the hospitals, very beautiful provision. I'll explain 2 or 3 for you and the fallacy what we face. One provision is a 17.2, which you people will be aware. It is a 17.2 is for the perquisite. So the 17.2 1B section, which says about that any of the person who gets treated in any of the hospital, if the employer reimburses the amount, tax need to be deducted as a perquisite under section 17.2. So 17.2 1B section states that if it is a specified hospital which has applied for an exemption from the CCIT exemption, then that reimbursement will not treated as a 17.2B perquisite. So Rule 3A of the Income Tax Act defines preconditions. Most of the services of hospitals are covered under Rule 3A, and there are certain lines which hospital has to mitigate, and then there is an inspection, joint inspection by the local medical team and the income tax officer. Then there should be a officer not below the rank of DCIT and all blah blah, and those inspection happens, and then exemption certificate is issued, and which need to be renewed periodically. And then I am sharing my experience, and we had in Kolkata, our headquarters was in Noida, then we applied for it. It took me around 18 months to 6 months to decide whether the jurisdiction is Noida or Kolkata, ICAI Bhavan. So I was traveling Noida, then Delhi, then Lucknow, then to ICAI Bhavan South, all this. 6 months to decide the jurisdiction of where the file will move. So they said, no, it's a registered office in Delhi. The ICAI Bhavan sent all the files to Noida through speed post, it lost. We resubmitted document thrice. Then again, when the inspection came, the inspector came, it was his first job, 3 months. 3 months I took into the government office to fix an appointment of a doctor from the local CMO office. He said, sir, I have just joined 45 days ago, and I'm little bit, he refused on the day, said, I'm absolutely nervous, sick, I've never done it in my life, only 45 days. I said, you are going to a hospital. Please come, we'll take good care of you, don't worry. So he came somehow, then he opened Rule 3A, nice hospital, everything, while he said, I'm unable to issue a certificate that you fulfill all the condition. You can read, it's very funny part, you can read tomorrow or today, Google it in your phone. The third stanza of the Rule 3A says, he said, I cannot, I said, why you will not issue a certificate, sir? We are the most modern hospital, you invested a lot of money over here, what is the problem? He said, the third stanza of the Rule 3A says, there should be 10 iron spring bed. Iron spring bed. And your hospital do not have any iron spring bed. I said, my hospital has invested the most modern bed. It's a hydraulic bed. The manufacturer has certified that the plastic has a combination of silver so that infection is not there. He said, no, produce me an invoice of a 10 iron spring bed, then only I issue a certificate. Because this section was probably executed in 1960. That was and income tax department has not updated since 1960. So I went to CCIT and then explained this. It took me around 3 months to convince them, yes, we still will get a certificate. It took me 18 months to, so this is still that 3A part 3 is still valid till today, 10 iron spring bed. Nobody has updated it, and world has moved so far. So you can understand that, so it never changes. Coming back to section 80U. Section 80U is a very beautiful piece of legislation, and it should be implemented, like as a practitioner, you should ask all your clients whether ATU is applicable to any of the family member or for them. 1.5 lakh or 75,000 based on the severity or the disability a person can avail. It's our moral obligation to support the disability. Yeah, yeah. So ATU, then initial days, the section 11, rule 11 says that any hospital can certify. Now government has changed it, it's only government hospital can certify the disability. So we have gone back rather moving forward. So benefit should be given to other people. So that exactly is the we face as a chartered accountant. I'm sharing my experience. Government should look on it and fix the things.
I have so much to discuss. The panel is so good that I can't resist asking more questions. But I mean, looked by Sandeep ji. I take privilege to thank everyone, and we will conclude this with the comments from any of you, including Sandeep ji. You can use it.
Hello. So actually we are running short of our time, so we had to stop. I mean, because it is a unending discussion about the Indian healthcare system and its improvement and way forward challenges. The thing that Neeraj ji was telling that 17(2)B, it's a Herculean task. I know, and very challenging to get the certificate done from the commissioner's office. And we'll definitely keep some session on this, and it would be a learning experience for, learning session for all the practicing chartered accountants who are working with the hospitals, how to get the certificate from the department, income tax department. And thank you for your very, enriching inputs to all of us. And also I, heartily thank our moderator for nicely coordinating and moderating the session. And with this, I give the formal vote of thanks to conclude this technical session. Thank you very much to each and everyone for your precious time out of the very busy schedule. Thank you very much, and thank you to the delegates.
Thank you, everyone.
Going to start our next technical session, so please remain seated. We are very quickly going to start the next session. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone.